Every time you overreact to a comment, a delay, or a slight, you give your power away. Not because the world is cruel, but because you haven't trained your mind to rise above it. But what if you could? What if criticism didn't rattle you, setbacks didn't shake you, and pressure didn't break you? In this video, I'm going to show you how to build an unshakable mindset, one that doesn't flinch, doesn't fold, and doesn't need approval to move forward. This isn't about ignoring emotions, it's about mastering them. And when you do, you don't just survive the chaos, you command it. Let's begin. Build the mindset that can't be moved. Every day, the world throws something at you. An unwanted comment, an unexpected delay, a silent judgment, a small inconvenience. And every time you react without thinking, every time you let it get under your skin, you're surrendering control of your life, one emotional outburst at a time. Powerful people don't live easier lives. They live more focused ones. They've trained themselves to stop giving energy to what doesn't move them forward. That's the real difference. Not fewer problems, just better priorities. The strongest minds don't try to silence the noise. They simply stop tuning into it. It all comes down to this: intentional focus. Learning to ask yourself, does this deserve my energy, my attention, my peace? If it doesn't serve your purpose, it doesn't get your mind. Take Marcus, for example. He used to respond to everything: criticism at work, drama in the group chat, delays in traffic. All of it drained him. Until one day, he stopped. He began to track every emotional reaction like an expense. He asked himself, is this worth what it's costing me? Most of the time, the answer was no, so he shifted. Now he focuses only on what feeds his growth. Not because he doesn't care, but because he knows where he's going. That's not indifference. That's leadership over self. You don't need to shut off your emotions to gain power. You need to master your attention. You need to choose what's worth responding to and what's not even worth noticing. Because when you learn to stop reacting to everything, you begin responding to the right things. And that shift, right there, is where your power begins. Stay unshaken. Align your emotions with your mission. Most people think emotional control means shutting down how you feel. They try to suppress frustration, ignore fear, hide disappointment. But here's the truth. The goal is not to feel less. It's to feel with precision, to feel aligned. Emotions aren't weaknesses. They're signals, energy, fuel. But when left unchecked, they turn into chaos, pulling you in every direction, hijacking your focus, wasting your strength on reactions that solve nothing. The strongest people you know, they don't lack emotion. They've just built a system that filters emotion through purpose. Take Jordan, for example, a rising creative in his mid-30s. His project got publicly criticized, harshly. The old version of him would have clapped back online, defended himself, explained everything. But he didn't. He paused. He asked himself, does this help me build, or does it just make me feel better for 30 seconds? He chose silence, and he chose strategy, because his goal wasn't to win arguments. His goal was to win long-term. That's alignment. So here's your shift. Stop seeing your emotions as the problem. Start seeing them as raw energy and learn to assign them to the right tasks. Anger? Direct it into discipline. Fear? Channel it into preparation. Frustration? Use it to demand better from yourself. This is emotional control at the highest level. Not resistance, but redirection. Not suppression, but selection. When you align your emotions with your mission, you move differently. You're no longer a puppet to feelings that come and go. You're a commander, giving orders to your emotional state. Because in the end, it's not about ignoring how you feel. It's about leading how you feel. And when you lead your emotions with clarity, the world can throw anything at you, and you'll still move forward, unshaken. Selective intensity. Focus like it's life or death. You've been taught to care about everything. What they said, how they said it, who unfollowed you, what might go wrong tomorrow. And that's the trap. Not because caring is bad, but because caring without direction is destructive. The people who achieve anything extraordinary in life aren't cold. They're precise. They've mastered a simple but rare discipline: selective intensity. It means choosing your battles, guarding your energy like it's currency. You don't waste it on gossip, distractions, ego fights, or trying to be understood by people who don't matter. Think of Layla, a former athlete turned entrepreneur. In her early days, she spent energy on everything: customer complaints, negative feedback, internal drama. It burned her out. But when her mentor asked her one question, "Is this helping you move toward the vision or just pulling you away?" everything changed. She stopped reacting to every fire. Instead, she chose which fires to build with purpose. That's the essence of selective intensity. Not less emotion, just better targets. You have limited energy. If you give it to every small offense or external distraction, you'll have nothing left for what matters. Here's how you shift. When something triggers you, pause. Ask, will this matter in a week? A year? Does it get me closer to my mission? If the answer is no, let it die in silence. Selective intensity doesn't make you cold. It makes you clear. It means you care deeply, but only about the things that move you forward. And in a world full of emotional noise, that kind of focus becomes your superpower. Stop seeking approval. Build unshakable self-validation. There's a quiet addiction that robs more potential than failure ever will. The need to be approved. Most people don't realize how deep it runs. It shows up in subtle ways, rewriting your ideas so they're more acceptable, hesitating to speak your mind, shrinking to fit someone else's comfort. The moment you seek permission to be yourself, you give others the power to define you. And the truth is, that permission may never come. The people who lead movements, who innovate, who disrupt, they didn't wait to be chosen. They chose themselves. And they did it before they had proof, applause, or support. Because they knew something most never learn. If you need to be liked to take action, you'll never move. Take Natalie. She launched her coaching business with 0 followers and a message that challenged the status quo. She was criticized, ignored, even laughed at, but she stayed with it. Why? Because she wasn't chasing acceptance. She was chasing alignment. And within a year, people started to follow, not because she begged for attention, but because she owned her truth without apology. That's what self-validation looks like. It's not arrogance, it's self-respect in action. Here's how you build it. Start keeping the promises you make to yourself, no matter how small. Measure success by progress, not praise. And every time you're tempted to explain yourself just to feel accepted, don't. You don't need everyone to agree with you. You need you to believe in what you're doing. Because once you stop chasing approval, something incredible happens. The world starts to take you seriously, not because you asked, but because you no longer needed to. Handle criticism like a strategist, not a victim. Criticism is inevitable. It comes whether you're doing nothing or building something bold, but how you handle it, that's what separates those who rise from those who retreat. Weak minds absorb criticism like wounds. Strong minds treat it like information, feedback, data. Here's the shift. Criticism doesn't define you. It reveals opportunities, but only if you stop reacting emotionally and start responding strategically. Most people collapse under criticism because they've attached their identity to being right, accepted, or liked. The second that identity gets threatened, they crumble. But what if you treated every piece of criticism, valid or not, as a signal, something to assess, not something to fear? Take Eric, a rising speaker who bombed his first keynote. The feedback was brutal. His first instinct? Hide. But his coach challenged him. Did you fail, or did you just collect data you didn't expect? That question rewired him. He reviewed the footage, studied the audience, took the hits, not personally, but professionally. 6 months later, he was booked solid. That's the lesson. Criticism can sharpen you, but only if you filter it through logic, not ego. Here's how you master it. Ask, is this feedback from someone qualified to judge? If yes, listen and extract what's useful. If not, keep moving. Not every voice deserves your attention. There are 2 kinds of criticism. Constructive, it comes with care, context, and clarity. Destructive, it's noise, ego, or projection. Learn to spot the difference. Don't argue. Don't justify. Don't defend your worth to people who've never walked your path. Because when you stop taking criticism personally, you become impossible to derail. You use every insult, doubt, or dismissal not as a reason to shrink, but as raw material for your next breakthrough. Keep your composure. Pressure is a test of preparation. Pressure doesn't break you. It exposes how prepared you are. That's the truth most people ignore. They think staying calm is something you're either born with or blessed with. But composure, it's not a personality trait. It's a practice, a discipline, a choice made long before the chaos hits. Pressure is the moment where most people fold because they never trained for it. They expect life to be smooth, situations to be fair, and results to be predictable. So when things go sideways, they panic. But high performers, they expect resistance. They plan for setbacks, and they don't try to avoid pressure. They condition themselves to thrive inside it. Think of it like a combat pilot in training. They don't simulate perfect skies. They practice for failure, engine loss, system errors, sudden changes. Why? So when the real storm hits, their body doesn't flinch, because their mind has already rehearsed what to do. You can do the same. Train your response now, not later. When the client cancels, when the deal falls through, when life throws you off script, breathe, don't break. That breath creates space, and in that space, you get to choose a response, not surrender to a reaction. Here's the formula. Expect stress. Prepare for chaos. Rehearse composure. Composure doesn't mean you're not impacted. It means you remain in control of your energy, your focus, your voice, even when things spin, because people follow the one who stays calm when the room is on fire. And the truth is, pressure is where real influence is born, not in comfort, but in crisis. So the next time things fall apart, don't react to the noise. Be the quiet force in the room that doesn't flinch, doesn't fold, and doesn't lose sight of the mission. Let go of what you can't control. Free your focus, elevate your power. Holding on is exhausting, and most people are burning out not because they're doing too much, but because they're gripping too tight to things they were never meant to carry. They hold on to how they wanted things to go, how others should have acted, how the outcome should have looked. But here's the truth. The more you try to control the uncontrollable, the more you drain the only thing that's truly yours, your focus. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means choosing power over pressure. It means reclaiming your energy from what's already out of your hands and reinvesting it into what actually moves you forward. Look at elite performers, whether in business, sports, or leadership. They all have this in common. They move fast past what they can't change. They don't replay mistakes for weeks. They don't dwell on who didn't support them. They don't fight every unfair situation. Instead, they ask, "Can I influence this?" If yes, they act. If no, they adapt and move on. Take Elena, a startup founder who lost a major investor days before launch. She had two options: spiral into blame and regret, or shift her attention to the solution. She chose speed. She refocused her team, pivoted the plan, and 3 months later secured a better deal with someone aligned to her vision. That didn't happen because she had no emotion. It happened because she refused to stay stuck in a place she couldn't fix. Letting go is a high-performance decision. It's the art of knowing when to hold your ground and when to release your grip. Because once you stop obsessing over outcomes you can't control, you unlock something most people never feel: clarity, calm, and freedom. And in that freedom, you become faster, sharper, more effective. You stop trying to control everything, and you start controlling what matters. Silence speaks power. In a world full of noise, silence becomes your weapon. Talking less doesn't mean you know less. It means you're in control. While others overshare, you observe. Silence builds tension. It commands attention. It gives you space to think while others reveal themselves. When you speak less, your words hit harder. And when you wait, you lead. Calm is a trained skill. Calm isn't luck, it's conditioning. You build it in the small moments. Pausing before reacting, finishing what you start, choosing discipline over emotion. Most people crumble in chaos because they never trained for it. But you're practicing daily. So when pressure comes, you don't flinch. You lead, because calm isn't the absence of stress, it's control in the middle of it. Move in silence. Let results speak. Power doesn't need a spotlight. It needs execution. While others announce, you build. While they explain, you deliver. Silence protects your vision from noise and doubt. It gives you focus. And when you finally reveal what you've been working on, there's nothing left to prove. Real moves don't need hype. They need results. Conclusion: control the mind, command the world. The world won't slow down. The noise won't stop. Criticism, pressure, distractions, they'll keep coming. But when you master your mindset, none of it controls you. These 10 principles aren't quick hacks. They're lifelong disciplines. You train them daily. You sharpen them through repetition. And over time, you build something rare, a mind that doesn't fold under fire.